Hello everyone. Happy Monday. How is everybody doing today? I will, as usual, just get everything pulled up on my end so I can follow along in case anybody happens to tune in. And that way I can read your comments. I always have to remind myself to turn the volume down when on the device that I am watching on for your comments, so that I don't give you guys a nasty echo here. Oh, a little bit too much. The view on my device that I'm recording with and the view that I view on always shows a slightly different view, so I sometimes have to adjust things a little bit. Hi Linda, how are you? I hope you had a good weekend. I am back today with the last card in the Spotlight on Nature series. So this is card number 5 that I'm going to make for you guys today. If you're new, I am Alana Wharf, Sleep with Stamper. I'm in Winnipeg, Manitoba in Canada, and I have been doing a week-long series, or a 5-card series. I shouldn't say week-long because we started later in the week, but I have completed the 5 cards so that we complete the series today, and then I will carry on with a different set. How is it out in Portage today, Linda? It is actually, I don't think it's too hot here today, but it's not as cloudy as yesterday. Yesterday was a little bit cloudy, but super hot. So today I'm going to make this card here. I promised you guys that I would come back with, or I said I would try to come back with this card here in 2 different color schemes. So I've done that. I did a 3rd one, but this is the 2 different color schemes that I've been running with all week. So I'm going to just pull in the cards that I have made, and I did get finished the 2nd color scheme of yesterday's card. So we'll move this aside just for a second. Hi Debbie, how are you? So this was card number 4 that I made yesterday. And when I made this one yesterday, I had said that I would do my best to get the navy version done. And I decided to do 2 so that I could do the navy version in both the coral and the pink, because I have been doing cooler than yesterday. I think we were talking on the weekend and Ryan had heard that it was supposed to cool down quite a bit this week. So I've been doing the cards in a pink series and in a coral series. My stamp club, we did these cards here. So we did this one, and then I made them this one. So when I did my first card at the beginning of the series, I cased one of our club cards, and I did this one in the coral series. So, or coral color scheme. And so with my pink and coral, I kind of tried to continue with that throughout the week. So that was card number 2, because card number 1 was actually this one. Sorry, we did this one here because this is the card I gave my club members. I tried to do one of my cards throughout the week, a remake of the gift card that they get. So that was this one. That was actually card number 1. This was card number 2, which was a case of this one. Card number 3 was this one here, which again I did in navy, but I colored in both the coral and the pink color scheme. Hi Sharon, how are you? Yeah, it's a great set. And hi Denise. I do love the Spotlight on Nature. It is beautiful. The dies are beautiful. You can use them with so many different things. And then the stamp set is really pretty. So that was the pink and coral with that one. Then yesterday's card number 4 was this one that I did in pink, and then I wanted to come back and do it in the coral, and then I still did a pink version of the navy. So this was card number 4. Those who qualify for the card kits will get this one here. I'll send this color scheme. And so that's card number 4, but I like how it turned out in both navy, hi Rhonda, and in the berry burst. So that is card number 4. So we'll just move that aside. I have been enjoying doing this 3-tone coloring with my blends. All right, so I am going to just keep these in proper order so that when I come back to revisit them, I know what I'm doing. All right, so that is the previous cards. And with that color scheme that I was doing both color schemes, I decided I would do the same thing here. And then I really wanted to try one with the smoky slate. So Omaha, wow, you're on vacation. Thanks for tuning in. So I did the smoky slate one, and then you open it up to this here. I have demoed this stamp technique before after our incentive trip because I used this stamp actually with this technique for my swap card. I should have thought to grab that, and I don't think I have one handy, but that's okay. So this one here, I just did a bonus one with the smoky slate, and these are the two official ones. So this is Native Navy and Misty Moonlight. I have used some of the, I think it's called Country Lace, which I actually forgot in the other room. I knew I forgot something, so I will grab that DSP to use on my card, but this is card number 5. So I did the Berry Burst version, and then this is Flirty Flamingo. So I'll recreate the Berry Burst version for you guys. And then that is the Flirty Flamingo. And I also used, I'm just going to do a quick recap of the bundle. So this is the stamp set. If you are new at all today, this is the stamp set, Spotlight on Nature. I just love these images. I want to just quickly bring back in yesterday's card so you guys can see that leaf if you're new to the stamp set. I'll show you this on the Berry Burst because it's easier to see first. So I just love that leaf. And then let me know, can you see that on the navy? I just love that leaf image. Oh, today's card is one of your favorite, Denise? Now, I do want to show you guys the dies so that you can see the versatility of these with any set. You get all of these circles. I think these are on back order right now. I did not check this morning. I should have to see if they'd come back in. But these are, if anyone else knows, please do let me know. But these are the Spotlight on Nature dies that are super versatile. So I've used a couple different layers of those today because I didn't use them a lot throughout the week. But I did want to make sure to use it with this fold. It was actually a little bit tricky because once I had done the circles, it felt too naked. So I added in the butterflies and some twine. So I'm going to show you guys the butterflies. These are from the Sketched Butterflies dies. And I used this middle one here and this one. So I just placed some silver foil paper behind this butterfly instead of cutting the whole thing, and then this one here. So these are a nice add-on, even if you don't have the stamp set, which I do have the stamp set. I should show you guys that quickly too. Okay, sorry about that. So these are the butterflies, and actually those are so pretty. You want the butterfly stamp too. You don't want just the, now it is, those 4 little butterflies are all on one stamp. So you could either, let's just see. I know this isn't the featured stamp set, but I wanted to show you. So there is no die for these 4 joined together. So you could always cut those separately if you wanted to, if you didn't want to have them all stuck together. But I think those little ones are just so cute. Very pretty. All right, so I pulled that in because I needed a little something. The laser cut butterflies that we have were too big, and I had already stamped my greeting, so I couldn't put a little die cut greeting to just kind of tie it into the rest of the card to anchor it a little bit. So I went with the butterflies, and I'm kind of happy with how those turned out. So hopefully you guys like the butterflies because you will get those in your kit if you earn them. All right, so let's review some supplies. I forgot the DSP, so 1 second. I do just need to quickly grab that. It'll be 1 moment. I'm so sorry about that. Okay. So now I have the DSP. So I can just make sure. There we go. Okay. And I also brought in another sample. I have this one here. So I just wanted to show you guys. I had actually colored this one first with Calypso Coral, and I felt like it was too orange for what I wanted. But if you were recreating this and you prefer the Calypso Coral, I just wanted to show you what that looks like. So that's Calypso Coral, and that is Flirty Flamingo. So you could always decide. And then maybe you don't have the marker for Flirty Flamingo. All right, so let's review the supplies. I have a Night of Navy. I'm going to just move the cards over a second. I have a Night of Navy 4 1/4 by 11. I am going to score that in a couple different places to create the gatefold. I have a 4 by 5 1/4 basic white. I have the large circle in Misty Moonlight. I have this detailed circle in basic white. I have the 2 little butterflies. I'm going to have to do some trimming on this one, but I didn't want to do that ahead of time so that you guys could see what I did there. And then I also have the DSP that I forgot in the other room, which is this one here from Country Lace. And I also used Country Lace on this Smoky Slate version. So you can get both color schemes out of your Country Lace paper. And then I use the Country Lace on the Flirty Flamingo version as well. All right, so then separate from that, I use some rhinestones and some white twine. So I will score this base first and move it out of the way. So we're gonna do that real quick. I also have a spritzer, so if any of you like stamping along or trying the technique along with me, I do have my markers and a water spritzer. So I'm going to use Berry Burst and Mossy Meadow markers for this one. If you were doing the coral version, I used Flirty Flamingo and Mossy Meadow. All right, so I'm gonna just move this piece of DSP slightly. And I'm going to score this at 2 3/4 and 8 1/4. When I am scoring cardstock, I like to use the fine tip as opposed to the broad tip. And then when I'm scoring DSP, I like to use the broad tip. All right, so now I just need to bone fold this. So we're just going to, now another tip for you, if I don't usually take the time to explain this. So this is the side I scored on. So I want to fold away from the score. You have stretched those fibers on the side that you press in. So you want to work with that and fold away. So I just want to make sure that these fit nicely at the middle. You know, sometimes you score a little funny and they don't quite meet up or they don't quite go straight, but we've got these scored and out of the way. Now I will also just quickly trim these. Or not these, this is more like it. So we're gonna cut this down. I need 2 pieces that are 4 by 2 1/2. Now let me just check the orientation of my paper. So this is gonna go like this. We're gonna put this into the 4. And I wanna just make sure, I like it to be, oh, I'm gonna have to just go with it not being symmetrical, I think, to get good use out of my paper. I was down to scraps for these ones, so I purposely made sure that my pattern was symmetrical on there, but I don't think I'm going to be able to do that with this one here. Okay, so we're gonna cut down to 5 because we need 2 pieces that are 4 by 2 1/2. And then I'm going to put this edge over to the 5. And cut there. Okay, now I'm going to use my small cutter, and we are going to cut this at 2.5. There we are. So now we have our 2 pieces for the side panels there. So I can move these aside with my card base. And now we're going to bring in the stamp, and we are going to stamp on both the circle and the, got a little mark on my cardstock there, so I'm going to flip that over. I can bring this back in so you guys can see what I'm doing. All right, so first of all, I will stamp on the circle. So I'm going to bring in the markers that I need. I'm going to first color the green. So these are the Stampin' Write markers. You have a brush tip and you have a bullet tip. Now, if you weren't aware, you have this line here and this line here. The bullet tip coincides with the thinner line and the brush tip coincides with the broader line. So I'm going to use my brush tip, and when you are coloring with your brush tip, especially on a stamp like this, if it's a larger image, I try to just go gently on the side of the brush tip. You don't want to be coloring on the tip like that, kind of like our blends, like I was telling you guys yesterday when I colored with blends. You want to be super cautious of the tip. You don't want to crush it. So I'm just carefully coloring, and I'm putting a little bit of green at the base of each flower. I didn't want to have strictly the color of the bloom. So I'm putting just a little bit of the Mossy Meadow, and then I'm very careful when I put the tip back into the cap, just to make sure I don't smush them. And then I'm going to come in with the side of the brush tip of the color of the bloom and just carefully color that. So I'm just brushing away. I find that helps too. I'm just mostly going in one direction and not back and forth, and that will also help preserve the tips. Okay, so we've got that. Now I have an aqua painter. Oh, and I think I just accidentally accidentally touched the tip of that. So I just want to make sure that I reapplied ink. Now I'm going to move these, and I will try to spritz this on camera so you guys can see what I'm doing. But we don't want this to overspray. So I'm going to try. So it's just water in my spritzer, and I'm just going to do a light spritz on there. And my paper towel is under my card. I want to just wipe that off before I put my circle down. I should have had that more handy. So I'm trying to leave room to stamp my thanks above the flowers. There we are. And I like how it just gives it a slight watercolor effect. Just kind of, and it blends that line a little bit so it's not quite so harsh. Now we're going to just wipe this again. Now I'm going to dry this a little bit. This does not have to be perfectly clean because I'm going to use this again. I just don't want these big blobs of water getting in the way of my markers or oversaturating this when I spritz it again so that it's really muddy on my paper. So there's the card again. Now we're going to color one more time. I did this a lot when I made my swaps for the incentive trip. I did, if you have not yet seen that card and you want to go back to see it, if you go back to, I think I posted it at the end of April. So you could scroll back. Instagram is a little bit easier to scroll back on because it doesn't have all of my live videos in the feed or my posts about the live feed, like the advertisement of the live feed. So Instagram's a little bit easier to scroll, so you can go back to end of April or beginning of May, but I believe it was still in April when I posted it. And that one was Pretty Peacock and Mossy Meadow. I loved how that color scheme turned out. I pulled that photo up while I was making these just to remind myself of how I had done it. And it really made me want to make some of these with that color scheme too. I just love that color scheme. So I'm going to move this again. I don't want to get that wet. I have my paper towel a little more handy this time. I am going to spritz the image again, because you do have to do this every time, unless you don't want the spritzed version, which is completely fine. You don't have to spritz it. You can just color, you could huff on it, and then stamp. So the huffing on it just re-moistens the ink if any has dried before you get to stamping from when you've colored it. So I'm going to just quickly dry that off again too, so I don't put, hi Ramona, anything on top of that water and get it all wet. And then I'll just cover my spritzer. There we are. Oh, I need that paper towel still. We need to wipe this up. There we are. I love the glass mat. It is just so nice to craft on. All right, so now we have our stamping done. I put that on top of the stamp set, except for the greeting. I do need to stamp the greeting. And where did I hide that little greeting? I was sure that I brought it here. But let's just see. Do you ever have something right in front of you and you cannot see it for the life of you? I may have actually left it on I do have 2 glass mats. I think I left it on the other one. One sec. Okay. Sorry about that. So I was telling you guys throughout the week that when I stamp a greeting, particularly, oh, there's Ruby, I line up my block with a line on the grid, and then through that, so this is going to be parallel to the line, I take my greeting and I line it up to a line that I can see through the block. So then that lets me know that as long as my block is straight, my greeting should be straight. As much as I want to tilt this, I need to keep it straight when I'm stamping. So I am going to tuck this right into this area here. And I just want to make sure that my block is parallel to one of those grid lines. There we go. So hopefully that tip helps you guys with getting straighter alignment, even when you're not using a Stamparatus or something like that. Okay, so that should be our stamping. Now we can go ahead and start on assembly. So when I cut these, I had set them down on my card base so that the pattern would continue. But sometimes I will, yeah, that's what we'll do. Sometimes I will take them, if it made more sense, if they're a little more symmetrical to swap them, I would do that, but they're not. Actually, you know what? Maybe, does that look too off? What do you guys think? If these patterns aren't aligned, it lines, I have like a little bit of an edge of these little petal looking things on the outer sides, which is more symmetrical, but the pattern is not at the same height. So we're gonna just do this. I'm sure no one else will know. I noticed, but I never notice if somebody gives me a card though. Those details do not jump out at me. I'm just thrilled to get a card. So hopefully the same goes when I make a card. There we go. So just a little bit of Tombow. You just want to be super, just a super thin bead. You don't want to put a lot on there. These are just centered on these panels. Again, they are 4 by 2.5. Now for the inside, I am not going to use my Tombow. I am going to use my Stampin' Seal Plus. if you have troubles with this, I find if you just apply, go down straight, just even pressure, don't tilt it, just try to keep it flat and just pull straight towards you, that you should get a nice application of your seal. Okay, so that's on the inside. Now for this one here, we are going to use some mini dimensionals. So I just like to flip it upside down in place when it is intersecting a fold. That is what I like to do. And I am just positioning this so that it is centered side to side and top to bottom. And then I can put my dimensionals on there. And I'm making sure they don't cross this center line here, because otherwise we're gonna tape our card shut and we don't want that. Now I can flip this straight over and center that. Now this one, I don't want to use black on that one. I want to use my white dimensionals, and I will just go ahead with the mini ones. I definitely use the different sizes of dimensionals interchangeably. I do not stick to just one. I know some people like to purchase the large ones and then just cut them down, which I do that all the time too. I do use the large ones and cut them. I just like to custom fit my dimensionals, so I use all of them. Alrighty. Now we are going to just place this down with the greeting hopefully straight. It's hard to see when I try to not get my head in your way. Now for the butterflies. One is good as is. This one I don't need to trim, but this one I will show you again where that came from. So that one came from this right here, and it is not separate, so I need to separate it from the other one. So I'm going to just bring this in. I'm going to come in here. Oopsie, I want to show you the butterfly first. I'm just going to come in here and snip that off. And then I'm going to round this, and I'm going to try to give it a little detail. There we go. So we've just snipped those extra little pieces off. There we go. And now we can get these ready. So this one's going to go on. I do want to pop out all these little negative pieces. I got one that's a little stubborn. Just give that a little poke. There we go. Now I have a little glue dot. This one, I'm going to just pop that forward, and I'm going to tuck this right in here. So that one goes there. Now for this one, we're going to pop all these out again too. You could also, if you wanted to keep those little negative spaces in the butterfly, because it is really pretty with them in there, especially in the silver, you could, before you pop them out, you could glue this down to a piece of white cardstock and then just trim around it. It's a pretty easy trim. I say that without having done it, but I feel like it would be a pretty simple trim to do. Now I am going to just snip a little piece of mini dimensional, and this butterfly is dimensional. So I have just a little piece that I am going to put just behind the body there. You can see that. Now we'll peel that backing off, and this is going to tuck right in here. there we go. We are almost done. Now I just need my white twine. So I've got that here. So just tie a bow. And when I'm cinching this back, I like to hold the knot and hold the loops of the bow flat so that you have as little twisting of your loops as possible. There we go. Now we can just take this and I'm going to put it on a little glue dot. And I'm going to tuck that right under here, and then before I really tack it down, I just want to kind of center how it peeks out behind the butterfly a little bit. And if I need to pull one a little bit, there we go. So I put that under the butterfly. I wouldn't normally place it there, but it needed something. So, and I thought that I didn't mind that right there. Okay, so now we're going to dress it up with a little bit of rhinestones. Okay, so I'm just going to grab my piercer. And I'm going to put a medium one here and a small one here. Now I may actually just move these down a little. So I'm going to just carefully lift this up. There we go. There we are. So that is card number 5 in the series. So here is today's card. I'll bring that a little closer for you to see. Get these out of the way. So card number 5 is this Misty Moonlight Berry Burst version with Night of Navy. Got a little bit of backings in there. And then we stamped the inside to coordinate with the front. So there we are. And then just to refresh your memory, here is the Flirty Flamingo version. Again, stamped on the inside. I just love that little bit on the inside. What do you guys think? I think it's so fun. I don't always remember to do the insides, but I love this one with the inside stamped. And then there we have the Smoky Slate version. So a quick recap. This is day number 5. This is the card. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for tuning in, Denise. I appreciate you guys all being here. So this is card number 5. This is card number 4. It would be this version here that you would get. And just to remind you what the Night of Navy version looks like. Thanks, Linda. Then we have card number 3, which was this one here. You would get both the Flirty Flamingo and, oh, thanks, Suzanne, and the Berry Burst strips. The other elements are all the same, but you get to choose between the strips, and I'll send you the butterflies. And then card number 2, and we have card number 1. So if you would like to earn these cards for this week, I will keep it open until Wednesday. So your $65 purchase in Canada using this host code here will qualify you to receive the kits for these cards. And if you are local and you want to pick up from me, then you can also just contact me and I can place the order with another order that I have going in. Now, again, it would be by Wednesday. So if you wish to get these, you can order by Wednesday. I will actually begin the next series tomorrow rather than tonight. There are just too many other projects I have to get done today. I have some assignments due for Artisan and then some other things. So I have to get those done and I just don't want to be too late getting to you guys today. Hi, Darcy. How are you? So I will do the start of the next series of 5 starting tomorrow. And in the meantime, you can still purchase to qualify for these cards here. And then my Stamp Club members can still choose to bump up their order if they want to qualify for these. They have already had the chance to make these ones, but they can also qualify for the rest. So that is the card for today. I thank you guys so much for joining in and for watching with me. Oh, Darcy, I will post this right away on the replay so you can tune in there. I'm sorry that you're just missing the project, but this was the one I made today. If you caught any of the others, this was today's card. Yes, so if you want to qualify for those, just let me know. If you place an order, don't forget to email me and say that your order is to qualify for the Spotlight on Nature cards. And even if you don't purchase and you are just wanting to come back to these videos and recreate them on your own, that is great too. So I love being able to inspire you guys, and I appreciate you coming and sharing your feedback. So thanks very much, everybody. I hope you have a great week, and I will be back tomorrow. Bye, everyone.